Alright, welcome in. Welcome in. For those of you that are going to watch this at the beginning, a little bit later, let me tell you something about Classic Plus. Real quick. Because there's a lot of people that are calling me different names because, well, you know, I think the community overall doesn't want to believe that a corporation, a company, a business, they want to believe that they have people's best interest at heart first. Well, I'm going to put it to you like this. If every company, if every business from mom and pop to Walmart to Tesla to Bank of America put people that their customers first before profits, then we wouldn't have jobs. So they're going to put profits, I'm sorry, they're going to put profits ahead of what we want. Period. Okay, they're going to put their best interest in foot forward. Now they have to come up with a good product, because if they screw the product up, then it's over. So just want to throw that out there, because I know a lot of you will watch a little bit of this at least.
Let me ask you a question.
Right now I'm uploading my latest video on Classic Plus because there's some people that are not happy with me the way I did things. Well, I could care less. So let's explore and see what's cracking over here. I also want to grab a fishing pole. I forgot to do that yesterday. I'm only going to be on for maybe another 2 hours. I got to get up early for work.
What can I help you with?
So we're just going to hang out.
Light be with you.
Now, we did all the quests yesterday. Last night. We did them all. See? 0 quests in Elwynn Forest, except for the Give Gerard a Drink, which is a repeatable that we don't really need to do. So we'll mine a little bit, and we'll explore some of the areas we haven't done. Hey, a tiger's eye. We'll need that for engineering for the goggles. Sweet! All right. Well, that's kind of cool. All right, so let's check out our boy down here. Now, just to give you guys an idea, I talked with a friend of mine that actually is close to, we'll say it's close to the Classic Plus situation. And I'm finding out that it looks like a lot of the influencers that went to Blizzard apparently are going to be invited to a beta test pretty soon. Probably right after BlizzCon. So that's pretty cool. That means it might come January of 27. That means January 27 is a possibility. It doesn't mean it's 100%, but it is probably a possibility. Okay. Now we have to kill this guy. This is one of the bosses. He's the Dock Master. spotted. Okay, we need to run. We killed him, now we need to run. No, I'm dead. I'm dead. Maybe not. Maybe not. Ooh, I got lucky. He's the hardest boss to beat. Quite literally, he is the hardest boss to beat. It is hard to beat him because those bodyguards show right up. So we got him, we survived. That's the hardest boss to get. So now we kind of got to play this game of we got to get the bosses. So we're going to send the boar in first. Okay. And he's back again. We're not even going to try for the chest. But we got him, so we beat him, so that counts. So that's pretty cool. Okay, no, nope. That was pretty cool. Okay, there's one more boss I gotta get. He's over here somewhere. I think he's over in the very far east side by Red Ridge. Okay, by the way, I think I made my decision on the next zone. The next zone is going to be Westfall. I'm going to do Westfall, then the Barrens, then Darkshore, then Loch Modan. And then if I'm able to get over there, Silver Pine Forest will be last. copper vein. And a water barrel. Okay. Oh, okay. Ridge Point Tower. Now, it's been a while, but I wonder what is actually there. So we're going to check that. We've already checked out the Tower of Azora. So I'm not worried about the Tower of Azora because we're going to pick up a quest there later on to complete the Red Ridge quests. Hopefully by the time I get to Red Ridge, I can solo a lot of the elites before I go to Darkshire. Gonna be difficult though. Not gonna be easy.
Light be with you.
Well, there's guards.
Well met.
Okay. See what else there is. Another guard.
Greetings.
Okay.
Safe travels.
All right. So nothing really there in Ridge Point Tower. Oh, I got the collector already. Already did that. Okay. All right, that's the last boss right there. We'll let him do his thing. Okay, so he's the last boss. So we're going to take him out. Alright, so all the bosses of Elwynn Forest have now been eliminated. So now we need to explore all up in here, and we need to explore all in here as well. So we haven't gone and checked everything out. So even though I completed the quests over here, I didn't explore all the way around the lake. I didn't go and see if there was anything like kind of nifty over there. We've done all the caves. We've done all the elite rares. We've done all the elites, including Hogger. Now it's basically about exploring and see what we can find in Elwynn Forest over here. We already investigated East Vale mining camp. You know, just gonna run around and see what we can find. See if there's any hidden gems or anything that we missed that maybe we saw 20 years ago. Looks like all these hills almost climb all the way to the top. See how far we can get. Oh man, it's as high as we can get. Whoops. Whoops. Don't want to fall. Nope. That's basically as far as they'll let us go up. That sucks. So you can't get all the way up to the top there. That would have been freaking cool. Looks like there's pathways that want to lead up, but it just doesn't seem like... It just seems weird. Like, it shows there's a way up, but see, it won't let you go past a certain point. Well, look at this. Wait, can I jump? Alright, got it up top there. Oh, cool. Alright. Now let's see. Alright. So that's about as tall as it's going to let you get. Alright. That was kind of cool. Alright, we'll get in the middle of the island in a minute. I want to go around the island. I want to see if we can... what we can find. So there's a Murloc village. Bunch of Murlocs. So let's go human. Doesn't look like there's any rares. See, look, there's all kinds of little hidden paths back here. I just don't know if they lead to anything. It doesn't look like it leads to really anything. No, it doesn't. And this server's laggy today. Oh my god. God, lots of murlocs. Lots of lag. God. So much lag. Tons of lag today. Oh my God. All kinds of prowlers out here. So this is not a place you could farm prowlers. That's pretty badass. Of course, you got a little den right here. We'll get some copper. Prowlers. Huh. Fend Fennel. Whoa, where is that guy? Hold on. I think I found another rare that I didn't know about. I did not know about this. See if we can find him. It says he's somewhere here. There he is. Look at that. We found another rare. I didn't know what was on over here. So I'll clear all these guys out. Oh, he There we go. Didn't even know he existed. The Pale Skinner. It's a sword, does 6.6 damage per second. Well, we found something interesting. Now, obviously, this is better for me now, but that's interesting. That was a good little find. But what's this over here? See, I've always been curious. So right now, if you look, you got that's a camp. But look at this little house. It's a burned down house. Whoops. Let's get rid of him. So that's pretty sick. I mean, that's a sick starting one-handed sword. And it's dropped by a guy I didn't even know existed. So see, here's this house. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look up this house. So I'm going to look it up using Google. So I'm going to say there is... Whoa. God. Leave me alone, Mr. Prowler. Okay, while we attack the Prowler... okay, there is a house in Elwynn Forest, north of Stone Cairn Lake. Let's see if we can find more information about this house. So this house... okay, so this house is... this ruined house of Stone Cairn Lake in Elwynn Forest contains a stolen chest taken from the Cathedral of Light. Let's see if it does have that. There it is. Requires the James key. Okay. Contents unknown because it requires James key, which cannot be obtained in normal gameplay. Would you like to know more about points of interest? No, I want to know about the James key. How do you acquire the James key? So there is a little thing here. You cannot acquire James key because it's completely unobtainable in the live version of World of Warcraft. The history behind the key, the intended source, the key was originally programmed to drop from James Clark, a level 12 neutral human NPC located at East Vale Logging Camp in Elwynn Forest, which we did see that, okay? Remember, we did go and kill that guy. The scrap quest during the early alpha and beta builds of Vanilla WoW, this item was a part of a level 10 warrior class quest. An NPC at the Cathedral of Light in Stormwind would task you with tracking down James Clark, who had stolen a chest from the cathedral and retrieving its contents. Why it's broken. Blizzard decided to scrap and redesign the warrior quest line before the game officially launched in 2004. They removed the quest and wiped the key from James Clark's loot table. However, they accidentally left the stolen chest object behind in the ruined house. No, the chest cannot be opened by any alternative means. Standard player tools will not work. Because the key only exists as a leftover data string in the item database, the contents of the chest remain one of Elwynn's permanent mysteries. That is a cool story. So this whole house was supposed to be part of a Warriors quest line that got scrapped by Blizzard 20 plus years ago. That's a great story. I love it. Great story. So we learned something new. I didn't know that. I learned something completely new about this game just by fooling around and horsing around and checking out everything. So now let's check out the middle. And we can officially turn back on treasure seeking. Oh, because I want more copper. But that was freaking cool. So basically the guy we killed in East Vale Logging Cabin in that house next to the lady that gives you the red bandana quest, he was the guy that was supposed to drop the key if the actual quest was left in the game. So that's freaking awesome. I like that. That's awesome. The only thing I can really, the only thing new I can tell you about Classic Plus Joltix is supposedly, I was told by some friends that some of the influencers that were invited to Blizzard earlier this year officially have been invited back right before BlizzCon. That's the only thing I know. I don't know what it's about. But I know that supposedly they're going back. I don't know if they're going to get the beta logins or whatever the case may be, who knows? Maybe they're making some changes. I don't know. I don't know anything past that today. Supposedly they're being invited back slowly but surely, and they're supposed to be going like the week before BlizzCon. So that's actually a sign that they're still on track to do, you know, let's say late winter to late spring launch of the video game, which is fine. That coincides perfectly with what should happen based on marketing strategies and business and trying to maximize profits. You know, you're not going to launch the game. If they announce a launch anytime that the game launches, let's say December 1st, it would shock me. Because according to my sources, they're not, they haven't even like put anything out there yet. I mean, they're hinting at it, but they haven't even put the official name together. The only thing that they have said is they're launching Camelot, which Camelot is something completely different than Classic Plus from what I'm understanding. And so it just doesn't make sense for them to launch it this year because they're not going to make any money. You know, they're horrible at marketing, and I'm launching a video right now talking about that. We already know influencers that are way better than I am at covering Blizzard know that their marketing skills suck. Okay? They suck at marketing. But that's okay. Right? I mean, the game's not for everybody. But you're going to want to do a mass launch. You're going to want to do a launch where you maximize the retail players, you maximize the classic players, and, you know, what they're going to do is they're going to limit
something.
You know, I can guarantee you that Zaru will be, I think that's how you pronounce that, Zaru or Zaru. Him and Willie will be the first two guys allowed to probably launch any material on social media about Real Classic Plus, whatever they decide to name it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because they have a neutral way of looking at things. And they're not going to want these guys that are overly negative influencers. Oh, they put so many things about retail in here. They're going to want a guy like like some of the influencers are more balanced and more positive. That's what they're going to do. And then once they've done that, then we know we're about 90 days away from launch. When Zaru actually comes out and says, by the way, I got to play the game at Blizzard. And I got to level my character on a private server to level whatever, 10 or 15. That's when we know we're 90 days away from launch. Or whoever they decide. I think it's going to be Zaru. That's who I think it's going to be. Spoiler alert. That's who more than likely is going to be the guy that's going to do all the media for Blizzard. He probably doesn't even know that yet because he's been busy with Minecraft and stuff like that and having fun doing reaction videos. But he may not even know it yet. But he's going to be the guy. At least he's going to be the first guy they're going to ask. Because, you know, like a lot of people I know close to the situation, he is just so personable. And he not only has a great personality, but he just has a flair for keeping everything in perspective. So he's probably the guy that goes in, plays the game, realizes there's a hell of a lot of retail mechanics in the game to attract retail players to buy the game. And he's going to be the guy that's going to have that more narrow, easy approach to the whole thing. And, you know, you're going to have, trust me, guys, if you are expecting Classic 2.0, you're going to be highly disappointed. It's not even going to be that. We already had Classic 2.0 with Season of Discovery. Period. You know. So there, you know, and then, you know, beyond my buddies that are close to the situation, we also have a friend of ours that does not have anything to do with Blizzard. That's in marketing and AI marketing, and he's like very big into the whole social media and AI thing, right? And he has even said, like, in order for Blizzard to make money on this, they have to take certain mechanics from retail and put them into Classic Plus or whatever they're going to name it. I don't even know the name. They won't even tell me the name. They're afraid if I say, I'll probably slip up because I'll be drinking and probably say the name accidentally. So, yeah, there's nothing to, there's really nothing to, that's new to report. I just did like a video today that I'm launching tomorrow morning that basically like goes after the guys that are commenting in the other video I did where they're all like, oh, you know, he's lying. It's absurd what he's saying. Wah. All I hear is crybabying, like, wah. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Well, I don't get paid to do anything for this. This is just fun for me. I get paid for the other things I do on social media, like all the advertising I do for the RV industry. So I could care less if somebody believes me or not. I really could. You know, it's funny because when I started my podcast, when I was talking about camping outdoors and the motorhome and travel trailer industry, I said things and predicted things, and people would go in the comment section and give me hell and tell me I'm full of crap. I'm just looking for clicks and views. I heard that all the time. I used to get nasty emails from people. Nasty emails. And then all of a sudden, everything I said came to fruition, except for a couple things here and there. And all of a sudden now I've got 20,000 people that listen to my podcast a day. So it's like, I even have CEOs and presidents of the RV industry that listen to my podcast on a daily basis. When I release a video, almost the entire industry watches or listens because what I cover is not what everybody else's BS is. It's about, hey, you know what? This is what the reality is, and this is what the come to fruition is. And, you know, I've been fortunate enough in my life that I've made a lot of contacts in a lot of industries. And unfortunately, you know, I've invested money into things. I invested money 4 years ago into a business, tried to grow it. The economy went to crap. Inflation really took over, gas prices, and I ended up losing every dime that I had and basically rebuilding in my 40s from scratch. And rebuilding from scratch is hard. So when I'm sitting here and telling you that my buddies that I went to college with, and one of them actually was still in high school when we met, when they're close to a situation and they give me information, and when one of them laughs at me because I showed one of them, I screenshotted a comment that was sent that what you're saying is absurd, and because you're lifting your mouth up in a corner, you must be lying. So I screenshotted a bunch of the messages to these guys, the comments. And one of the guys laughs and says, they do realize that what they requested for new raids and dungeons. I go, yeah? You realize that Season of Discovery covered a lot of that, right? Not to say that there wouldn't be new content in this new product, but don't they realize, like, technically they kind of already did a Classic Plus? I started laughing. I'm like, well, you know what? I go, I'm going to tell you at the end of the day, I'm just going to keep having fun and exploring Azeroth. And they thought it was a good idea. In fact, a couple of them, two of them watched my video I did about the painting. So there's a painting in a house in Dunmoreau of a half-naked woman. And it's in Misty Pine Refuge. I couldn't believe it. I was like, you are kidding me. When I looked at it, I clipped the video of it and I sent it to the guys. They're like, do you know about this? Oh, yeah, we've known about that. Oh, okay. I had no idea. Just like I had no idea about that key. All right. Here we go. Here we go. So I'm not worried about, realistically, I'm not worried about whether people believe me or not. I could care less. I just want to play the game, have fun. When it comes out, I'll just keep clipping the video on a loop. And I'll do like a Colin Coward thing, if you guys know who Colin Coward is. What John got right, what John got wrong. I've done that on my podcast with RVs. And there's a couple things I've gotten wrong in the RV industry. I thought interest rates were going to go down already. I thought they would slightly go down. They've actually gone up. You know, so there's some things that got wrong in the RV industry. I thought that prices would actually stabilize next year. I found out they're going up. So, you know, there's just certain things, you know, you don't get everything right, but the majority of everything I've gotten right when it comes to the RV industry. There she is. Get her! Get her! Get her! There we go. Jeweled dagger. That's pretty nice. No water. Little fireplace. Nice little house. Okay. Oh. Like, what the heck is that? Alright, let's go see what this is all about. I mean, I think people just need to relax and you know, enjoy the process. You know, that's one of the things I've always, like, I've been stressing to some people that I play this game with off and on. You know, I was going to play TBC tomorrow. Not going to now because they're all getting ready for BlizzCon. And, you know, they're all excited about BlizzCon, which is cool. I'm not going. I got to work. But I even tell everybody I play, they like one of the guys that I actually play TBC with, him and I know the same people. And he was like, he was so disappointed when he was told kind of what Classic Plus was going to be. And I go, really, dude? I go, we all loved Wrath of the Lich King. And he goes, yeah. I go, so who cares? So what? They put some retail mechanics in there to get some of these retail guys to hopefully buy the game so they can actually make money on it, so they can keep their doors open, so they can keep their employees paid, so that their employees can continue to take care of their families. So I don't personally have a problem with it. I know what mechanics are going to be. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want life-altering problems to occur. I think, from my perspective, I don't think they'll ruin the game. I think the game will actually have a very good experience. I think if you're a Classic player and you love Classic, you will enjoy whatever they decide to call Classic Plus. You'll enjoy it. And here's the reason why. Ooh, Master. Whoa. Hold the phone here. Okay, we're going to get to this in a minute. But let me finish my thought. So the reality is, set your expectations lower. Okay? I'm dead serious right now. Set your expectations with an open mind. Okay? And you will love whatever comes out. I know I'll love whatever comes out because I set my expectations at a certain point, and even what they've told me can change. Let's say there's a bug or there's something wrong, or maybe they don't have it fully done yet and they need to put in a patch. Don't go into whatever Classic Plus is going to be called. Don't go into it going, oh my god, they put that in there? Oh my god, they ruined the game. Well, if you don't like it, just don't buy it and go sit there and play Classic. Go play Season of Discovery.
Good day to you.
Alright. Well, he doesn't have much, so he doesn't have anything.
Well met.
Ugh. I didn't know these guys were in here. This is pretty cool. That's really cool. I get tired of people thinking that, like, setting, it's just like when in the company I'm in. So the industry I'm in, the RV industry, motorhomes, travel trailers, toy haulers, okay? Everybody walks in thinking that they can buy a $15,000 trailer and it's built like a tank. Really? And then they sit there and complain when a manufacturer doesn't build something that they like. Well, they're not going to build something that one person likes or 10 people like. They're going to build something that they hopefully can sell to millions of people. Millions, not 10, not a small community, but, in Blizzard's case, when you're going to make a video game that's brand new, and you're going to make it Classic 2.0 or Classic Plus or Classic whatever the hell they're going to call it, okay? Then they're going to make it to make money. They're not going to cater to 100 influencers who think, oh, if they do anything else but what we want. No. Come on.
What can I do for you?
Really? Come on. It's kind of cool. I'll have to come back to him. Really? The bread and butter, it's like going to Walmart, right? And telling Walmart, hey, I don't like the fact that Walmart uses blue shirts, so give me everything for free. Like, don't make a profit on me. Don't try to make money. Make something just for me that only I'm going to like. Don't put flying. Don't put boats in Stormwind or... I've heard all of it. I've heard all kinds of just junk on the internet about, oh, if they did this, where? It's like, dude, it's a video game. It's not your life. It's a video game. For some people, they play the video game and create content for it to make money. Great. But just because you're an influencer doesn't mean that Blizzard is going to cater to you. They're going to cater to as many paying customers as possible. And they need a lot of paying customers so that way they can keep it going. Okay? So my attitude towards everybody that calls me a liar or says what I said in the video absurd, here's what I'm going to tell you. Okay? And you can take it however you want. Okay? If you step outside yourself and stop worrying about all the BS that doesn't matter in the world, and you actually sit back and realize this is a company with employees that have families, that have mortgages, that have rent, that have car notes, that have hopefully desires to retire and travel, those are employees. Employees do not come for free. So to keep those employees employed, Blizzard Activision, or however they call nowadays, needs to turn a profit with what we are calling Classic Plus. To turn a profit, you can't just depend on Classic players. You can't. It's logical. They have to draw in retail players, which is the bread and butter of the actual company. And then, watch this, folks. Watch this. Then they're going to continue the trend, because they already released that they're going to let Wrath of Lich King Anniversary come out. They've already put it on their timeline on the internet. So, because they know. Come on. Common sense says that Blizzard knows that probably 25%, maybe 30% of Classic players are going to hate what they've done with Classic Plus. They're hoping to get 70 to 75% of retail players to play it, and they're hoping 70 to 75% of classic players play it in between all the seasons and all the patches of the normal content they play. And if they can get that to happen, it'll be profitable. If it's profitable, then they continue to develop the game to give you more patches, to give you more raids, to give you more dungeons, to give you more content. Right? So if you step out of the fact that my buddies are connected to this, and you just sit back and you listen to the logic of how a business runs and operates, Blizzard is not a non-profit organization. Once we've done that and we've established that, then we can look at, okay, what if we have flying? What if we can fly around all of Azeroth on a mount? Is it really that bad? I'm not saying that's happening because, again, I'm using an example of something that's widely has been turned down and disregarded as happening, okay? But let's just say that they decided last minute that they made a change and they're going to add flying mounts to Classic Plus or whatever they're going to call it. Is it really that bad? I enjoy the flying mount in TBC. I enjoy the flying mount, or not TBC. I enjoyed the flying mount in Wrath of Lich King. What's wrong with it? You get to explore more. I just don't see the problem with something like that. I don't see the problem of triple spec. I don't see, if they actually allowed you to spec out your all three specializations for each character, or even if they did dual spec, I don't see a problem with that. I don't see a problem with them giving people a mount at level 20. I don't see a problem with any of that stuff. Okay? I don't see a problem with giving retail players the option to buy microtransactions to speed up their process. I don't see a problem with that. A lot of you might, but I don't.
What can I do for you?
And the reason why I don't
You need
is
something?
because
Good day to
Blizzard
you.
has to make money. And I'm looking forward to a new game.
How are you?
I liked, here guys, let me give you a great example. I like the fact that StarCraft 2 is broken up realistically into 3 games. I love it. Now, to me, StarCraft 2, the actual gameplay is not as good as the original. That's my opinion. Okay? But I love the story. I love the cutscenes. I love the way the story progressed. I love the way the story ended. Well, it didn't really end, but it did end. Okay? Loved it. They left it open-ended to do a StarCraft 3, if they ever wanted to. The gameplay was not as good. I still would rather play StarCraft the original and the Brood Wars than play StarCraft 2. But I played StarCraft 2 one time, each chapter, each story, and I loved the story and I loved the way it went. Diablo 3. I didn't like the last Diablo game, but Diablo 3 to me was an amazing, fun story. And playing through it I played through it 3 times. 3 times. Is it as good as the first 2 Diablo games? No. It's not. But it was so much fun to play through. And the storyline kept me hooked. And I played it multiple times, not just to see what I could get and unlock, and to see if I could do it on harder mode. But also, the storyline was addicting. It was really, really good. Half the battle of a video game, half the battle of any video game is the story. Okay? And we're already at a point in time where video games are getting ruined because of gender politics, MAGA, liberal. Video games are already getting ruined. Look at the Halo remake. It got ruined. Okay. Now, I've told people, why are you having an expectation that it's going to be better than the original release when we're in a politically charged environment where anything that anybody says can cancel you? Why would you have that high expectation? Why? It's dumb.
You need something? Good day to you. Safe travels.
It's dumb to have that expectation. So my point is, and this is my final point on it for the night, and then I'm going to get back to actually playing the game for a little bit. We have to understand that there is no such thing as a real, true billionaire or corporate greed person, an evil demon in the world of business. There isn't. There's only, and you can look this up, there's less than 20 people in the entire world that have more than $1 billion in cash, not debt, not borrowed money, actual real living cash inside a bank account. Everybody else is pretty much a billionaire or now a trillionaire or 100 millionaire in assets, stocks, debt, real estate. Walmart, watch this, guys. Walmart in 2025 had a net revenue. Net revenue is not profit. Net revenue, favorite politically charged word by the Republicans and Democrats. Net revenue is $682 billion in 2025. They spent $663 billion of it. They did not keep all $682 billion. $663 billion was spent. That left $19 billion of net profit. If you take out all the money they paid investors out of that $19 billion in profit, watch this. Each Walmart location, including distribution centers, made less than $70,000 last year net profit. Less than 70 grand. That's less money per location than a mom and pop business.
Need help? What can I do for you?
So why do they
Light
do it?
bless you.
They want the assets. They want the real estate. They want the market
Hey
share.
there.
They want the investors
Need
to
help?
invest their money
See
for
you
cash
around.
flow purposes so they can grow their business.
Well met. What can I do for you?
Okay.
Can I help you?
Nobody that is in business for free. No one. So I'll make anybody a deal. I'll challenge anybody. If you can prove that there are full-time Classic players that would not play Classic Plus, and it would break the bank at Blizzard even if they got 50% of retail and 25% Classic players, that they wouldn't turn a profit. If you could prove that. But here's the interesting part. If it doesn't make money, they'll scrap it. Let's face it, they'll just scrap it. Move on to a new project. We just have to think more like, it's like going into Star Wars. Now, I'm a big Star Wars fan. I'm a huge Star Wars fan. And I talked to my buddies about this the other day. I go, you know what? I had a big expectation of Star Wars. And I go, Force Awakens did not disappoint me. It was kind of like, okay, retreading old stuff. But hey, it was still fun. Great characters. Great story. Even though Han Solo died. Sorry, spoiler alert. Loved Rogue One. And because Rogue One and The Force Awakens were really good, my expectations going into The Last Jedi were skyrocket high. But I forgot. This is not George Lucas making this movie. This is Disney making this movie. This is Rian Johnson's. So after I got pissed off and walked out of the theater after they made Princess Leia float through space like Mary Poppins, I walked out of the theater. I was so pissed. I'm like, this is bullcrap. You've made Luke Skywalker my hero, a hermit, and made Princess Leia look like a cartoon character from a very bad cartoon. But then I sat back as I got older. I'm like, you know what? My expectations are too high. They were way too high.
King's honor.
Way.
Well met.
Way too high.
King's honor, friend. Greetings. Need
when
help?
I
With
walked
honor,
into the
friend.
Star Wars film, The Last Jedi.
What can I do for you?
And then what happens? Here's what happens. Then Disney course corrected. Even though The Last Jedi made $1 billion, they course corrected and tried to make it better with the last movie that still made $1 billion. But as soon as they major course corrected, what happened? They made even a even worse movie than The Last Jedi, trying to appease the Star Wars crowd.
Be careful.
So I'm going to compare that to Classic and Classic Plus. If you go into Classic Plus, like you went into Classic in 2004, 5, and 6, with this super high expectation, you'll be disappointed. If you walk in with, this is a brand new vision, a brand new game, it's going to have a lot of the mechanics we love, a lot of the things we love, but it's going to have some stuff maybe were questionable to bring other people into the game. There may be some microtransactions. There may not be. I personally think, from what I've been told, I personally think that there is going to be the option to purchase things. I think they tested that with TBC. And I think my buddies are being a little coy about that. Which is fine. Be coy. I don't blame you. Oh, I got to get this and fly back to...
Hey there.
Wait, did I get the other quest or did I screw up? Because I'm not paying attention. I didn't get it. I need to get it. Okay. So that's what I'm just trying to get to, guys. I mean, that was my point of the video. My point of the video I'm releasing in the morning. My point of my rant here live on YouTube. My point of the matter is go into this with an open heart and open mind, and I guarantee you will not be
How are you?
disappointed. Okay, I guess I did get it. I didn't think I got it. Did I get it? Yeah, I did. Okay. I got it.
Okay.
All right, let me go to the bank and drop off a few things, and then we'll fly back and we'll start doing some investigating Westfall.
How are you?
You know the other game that really was disappointing? And it was disappointing again because of my... So I this is going to sound controversial, okay? This is going to sound very controversial, especially if you're a fan of the Zelda games. Breath of the Wild was fun. I love the gameplay of Breath of the Wild. But it was a disappointing game for me. It was disappointing because the story wasn't as tight. A lot of the reasons why you play a Zelda game is the story. Wind Waker is my second favorite Zelda game because the story. Ocarina of Time is my third favorite Zelda game because of the story. Majora's Mask is my favorite Zelda game because it has the best overall story. Gameplay is only a part of a video game. Anymore, you have to tell a story. You have to tell a really good story. And some of these developers have crashed and burned on storytelling. Does anybody remember, if you remember all the Final Fantasy games? A lot of the Final Fantasy games were either successful because they did well with the story. Because there's two Final Fantasy games, I can't remember what numbers they are, but the gameplay is garbage. But the story is amazing. Kingdom Hearts. Kingdom Hearts got better. The gameplay and the storyline got better. So when I talk about why we should just take a deep breath and let things come to pass, it's not to piss you off. It's to, hey man, relax.
See you later.
It's just a video game. If the story, the most important part is if we can get a good story out of Classic Plus, if they actually, from my opinion, if they actually sit there and do what I believe they're going to do, which is basically help the plot points
You need something?
that were basically cast aside. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do fishing. I'm going to fish while I talk. I forgot. I'm an idiot. I'm such a moron. I'm sitting here yakking my ear off and friggin' not even paying attention.
Farewell.
Let me put the fishing pole on. Let's do some fishing here in Stormwind while we talk. So, anyway, my point is if the storyline and the plot holes that they left out during the original games to create what I love what Willie called it. Willie called it. I listened to him about 8 months ago. He did a video where he basically called it raid bossing. So they took a few characters from Warcraft 3 that weren't villains in Warcraft 3 and they made them villains for the purposes of raids. And you know, if they really are going to sit there and course correct that, I think at the end of the day, we're going to have a really, really great video game that we all are going to enjoy. I really do. I think the gameplay will improve as patches come along, but if they do not keep our interest with the story, fill in those plot holes, make some course corrections from the original 3 expansions, and make it a very interesting, story-driven game that is... Oh, looks like we're going to have to fish in Elwynn. I truly believe we're going to have a great game. And I don't think... I think the game... I think just like with Battlefront 2, the new Battlefront 2 in Star Wars, I think once they got things right with that, I think at the end of the day, that course correction was going to just do nothing but help us out. I think it would be awesome to see some of the bosses that we don't know if they died or not in Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 that really haven't been utilized too much. You know, I hope what I've been told is right, that they're going to use some of the plot, use some of the plot points from Warcraft 2 and Warcraft 3 to actually make new dungeons and raids and new content. If they did that, if they expanded on the Worgen and brought the Worgen in, I don't know if that's really happening or not, guys, just to let you know. It's been pretty quiet on that front. I mean, that kind of detail, I don't know. But, you know, if they're really true to their word and they do what they say they're going to do, I think we're going to enjoy it, and I think bringing back retail customers into Classic on a more more on their terms will actually create a bigger, tighter, better community. That's what I truly believe. I believe if you can get some folks that are playing retail right now that dabble once in a while in, Mista Pandaria or something, I really believe that we got a shot at having a really, really big community in that game. And I'm sorry, that's what kind of makes the game special. What makes this game special is not just the gameplay. In some reasons, sucks. Okay, in World of Warcraft 3, or World of Warcraft, I'm sorry, and TBC and Wrath of the Lich King, there are some mechanics of this game that are just repetitive and suck. But what makes the game special and beautiful is the community. So maybe, if someone wants to come in, and this is a fake thing, okay? I'm saying something fake, okay? But it's an example that I know that isn't going to be in there. If they offered retail players to come in and pay $10 to get a level 1 mount, instead of them having to walk everywhere, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I wouldn't. If they want to offer a solo tier dungeon for retail players so they can come in and they can do their raid by themselves and one-shot people to death, so be it. I mean, they're not going to do that, but I'm just saying, like, there's so many things. If they're trying to get half of their base that plays retail to come over to World of Warcraft, Classic Plus, or whatever they're going to call it, I don't have a problem with what they're going to do. Because I know there's enough in that game that's going to make a guy that loves Classic enjoy the game. So that's all you really need to know. That's all you really need to know and enjoy. Somebody asked me in the comment section of the video what server I was on back in 04 to 06. I don't remember. So if you're watching this, I don't remember. And I didn't join a guild. I was guildless the whole freaking game. I never joined a guild. Well, let me rephrase that. I joined a guild for about a week. And I don't even remember the name of the guild. And I was already sick of it because there's just too many crybabies in guilds. So if I'm not in a guild, nobody can complain and bitch when I roll need on a certain piece of equipment. Oh, I ran Shadowfang Keep 5 times and the shield finally dropped, the commander shield finally dropped, and you're rolling need on it? It doesn't gonna help you as a paladin tank. You need the one from Wailing Caverns. I mean, it's like, that's what made me quit guilds back in the day. That one interaction, and the guy didn't let it go for the whole week. Every time I logged on, he or she was logged on and did nothing but complain. Oh, you rolled need on something you didn't really need. I'm like, quit guild quick. Got out. And I'd get invited to guilds all the time. And I'm like, no. But I had a huge friend list on my other account that I let go a long time ago. I had a bunch of friends. People used to reach out to me and go, hey, Mr. Wiggles, because that was my paladin tank's name. Hey, Mr. Wiggles, you want to run, Upper Blackrock? Do you want to run BRD? I always, yeah, sure, I'll tank it. They go, you go into raids without farming much. Yep, don't really need to because somebody will have some extras, So I used to have fun. When I did Black Temple for the first time in TBC, when we completed it, it was a bunch of fun. you know? I mean, I would run with a guild. You know, if a guild wanted me, if they were missing one or two people and they needed something, they'd I'd eventually have a friend in my list for it. So I had a blast. And then Cataclysm occurred, and Cataclysm. God, what a disappointment. I don't even know where that came from. Like, I remember playing Cataclysm. I remember playing Cataclysm for the first time. And I started a new character. Every time an expansion came out, I would start a brand new character. Okay? Like, my Paladin tank, he was my first character. Once I got him up to 60, I didn't have... The only alt I had was a bank alt. Because I didn't have enough hours in a week to do another level 60 character. Okay, even though I'd play 3 to 4 days a week, 3 to 5 hours a night, it just, to me, wasn't enough time to sit there and try to, you know, do different things with that with a new character. But what I started doing was when I got up to level 70 in TBC, and I beat, you know, I was waiting for the Black Temple or whatever it was that Illidan was in. I actually started a hunter, a dwarven hunter, and he was called Budhound. Was the name of the hunter, was Budhound. Okay, and I used to piss everybody off of that hunter because I was marksmanship all the way, and I could care less. Like, I just was like, dude, I've got Feign Death and Ice Trap. I'm good, you know. If a tank was moving too slow, because I used to move really quick as a tank. Like, I would just like, I'd pull, if I had a great healer and I had enough people that were ranged DPS, I had like a mage that could poly somebody, had a good warlock that could hit dots on everyone. I would just pull as much in a room as I could handle. And, you know, especially if I had a really good healer. And so I would get bored and like, okay, let me just send my pet over here and let him growl these guys, and I'll just shoot one at a time until you guys are done because I'm bored. So I used to piss people off as my hunter. And then when Wrath of Lich King came out, I went Death Knight. And, you know, I went DPS Death Knight. And I can't remember which one. I got the one where I got the ghoul. I can't remember off the top of my head what spec that was. But it was not the tank spec. I think the tank spec was blood, if I remember right. And I wasn't that. And I had a blast with that. So I ran 3 characters. And then I started a Night Elf Druid in Cataclysm. And when I was running around the map, I'm like, what is going on here? I'm like, it was cool to see some of the landscape change. And to have a big old dragon as kind of the big boss, I'm like, we kind of already had that. I know he's bigger than most of the other, you know, dragons in the game from Classic, but I'm like, man, we already had that. But I digressed, and I ran one raid, and I'm like, this raid is nerfed so bad. It's like, okay. And then from there, it just seemed like everybody wanted to sit in cities and wait for raids. And then I came back for about a week in Mists of Pandaria and played as a panda, had a good time for about a week. And then once again, everybody's sitting in a freaking a major city waiting for raids, waiting for 5, 10, and 40-man content. You couldn't hardly find a low-level dungeon run. And it's like, I just sit there like, is this what the game became? And I just never went back. And I could tell you that a lot of those players still play retail today, can guarantee you. And there's nothing wrong with retail. I just don't prefer it because it's just not my cup of tea. Boy, fishing, getting my fishing skill up is a slow, methodical process. Oh my God. The other thing I really want to point out as I'm talking about this is we have kind of a problem in that AI, I know people are sick and tired of hearing about it, but AI is going to be a problem for video gaming in the future. It's going to be a situation that I think is going to make a lot of people frustrated with any video game. Because I think what video game developers are watching is they're watching that AI can create its own video game in 24 hours. While it takes humans a long time. So I think reality is whatever Classic Plus is going to be, whatever it's going to be called. I already know what it's going to be, but whatever it's going to be called. I think it might be one of the last MMORPG original games that'll be released and made by human beings. Not the last, but one of the last. Because I just don't see companies paying programmers and game creators the shit ton of money that they make when they can have an AI program do it in 24 hours. You know, I think there'll be a few more. I think there's going to be expansions, and I think there's going to be different things that Blizzard's still going to do for retail and stuff like that. But, you know, if you think about it, I think whatever Star Wars game comes out, there's supposed to be a new Star Wars MMORPG coming out in the next 3 years. There's supposed to be a new Elder Scrolls game coming out in the next 2 years. That's supposed to be open world. Open internet world. You got Fallout 76 will eventually expand to a more open world in a different state, a different video game. I think these are going to be the last of the MMORPG games that are made by human beings. So that's why I also want people to lower their expectations, because in the next 5 years... Look, guys, let me be frank with you. My job, the job in the industry I'm in the RV industry, I'll be replaced in 2 years. In 2 years, I'll be replaced by AI. And I can't stop it. The only thing I can do is shift what I do in the RV industry, which I'm going to go from doing the sales and marketing side as I'm going to be a technician. I'm actually going back to school at 42 years old to learn to work on RVs and to fix appliances. Because my job, my career is over in 2 years. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. Okay? I get to still do the industry. I still get to make content for the industry. I'm not worried about that part of it. But it's just thinking about it. Like, we're in the final years. This is why I get so pissed off at people that have this high expectation of what Classic Plus is going to be. It better be this and it better be that. Why do you care? This is one of the last video games that's going to be made by human beings. So why not just enjoy it for what it's going to be? AI in the next 10 years is going to be all the video game development. So why do you care? Why not take it in and enjoy it for what it really is? A video game meant to create fun and excitement and adventure and community. I just watched a buddy of mine that worked in as a legal aid for a big Fortune 500 company, was making $250,000 a year, just got laid off today. AI replaced his job. He had 10 people in the department he works in. Now there's 1. They laid off 9 people out of a legal department today from a Fortune 500 company. Poof, goodbye. Saves them a little over $2 million a year because of AI. It's coming. So just enjoy it. When they announce it at BlizzCon, hopefully that doesn't change. But when they announce it at BlizzCon, when they show you the first trailer, when they show you the kind of weird, I don't know what they're going to show you gameplay-wise, whatever they decide to show you gameplay-wise, whatever they had Zaru and Willie and a bunch of guys who went to Blizzard, whatever they had him play, whatever small portion of the game they allowed him to play, when we get to see that on the screen for the first time and all over the internet, let's take it in and say, wow, this is going to be amazing. You know, a brand new game. Taking stuff that we loved when we were teenagers and kids and young adults and you know, bringing it back for us in 2.0. You know, if you don't want to pay whatever the microtransactions are to speed up something, like give you a free green sword or a free level 1 mount or whatever the case may be, you know, whatever the microtransactions are, if you don't want to use them, don't. I'm going to tell you right now, most classic players, if they go through with microtransactions, are not going to use them. And they're not going to be mandatory. They're going to be like a fishing line, like a hook out in the lake for all those retail players that want something to happen fast. You know, I'm not really clear on what those would be, but I know they'll be like a speed up. I know what I've been told is it's been tested with the TBC anniversary to have a level 58 character right away. So you go straight into Outland. I don't know what the numbers are on that. I'd love to see what the numbers are of how many people actually purchase that level 58 character. I think that's going to be a determining factor on whether they bring microtransactions officially into the Classic Plus project, whatever the name of it's going to be. I don't have a problem with it. Make your money so we can get more patches. A bunch of us, there's TBC anniversary folks that didn't pay for the level 58 character. They're still grinding a level 10 or 11 character right now. So there'll be plenty of us to do whatever Dead Mines is going to be and whatever Wailing Caverns will be. There'll be plenty of us. Who I feel bad for, this is who I feel bad for. I feel bad for the people that are going to be so mad at Classic Plus because it's not what they promised. It's not what they were. It's not what the community wants. It's not what the community needs. Those guys are going to be sitting on a server in Classic or Wrath of Lich King, struggling to find groups to go into dungeons and raids. Because I think the super majority of Classic players are going to go into this with an open mind. But I want to make sure you walk into it with an open mind. I really do. That's the only reason why I've said anything. You know, if there wasn't so much mean, nasty content about this subject, I probably would have left it alone and never said anything. To be honest, what I'm most excited for is to hear if they're actually going to do StarCraft 3. I'm more excited about that than I am Classic Plus. Because I can't get a straight answer from my buddies about StarCraft 3. I can't get a straight answer. like, come on, guys. Come on. You left the opportunity open to do another story with Jim. You left it where you left that possibility open to do a third chapter of StarCraft. You left it wide open. Oh, all right. I think that's good enough fishing. Let me see if I can upgrade fishing now. God, I love the rain.
What can I do for you?
Yep. All right, let's go back to Westfall and let's go do some questing and some searching. Actually, I might go to bed soon. I'm tired. What's this? Oh. Let me sell all the fishies we got.
King's honor, friend.
By the way, don't waste your money on Spider-Man Brand New Day. Just watch it on TikTok. Tom Holland is still really good in the movie. And I won't spoil it for you, but I'll say that it's a bad movie. It is a horrible movie. Tom Holland's great in it. And the guy that plays the Punisher is really good in it. It's worth watching, but it's not worth paying to watch. It's not worth watching in the movie theater unless you just want to watch all the action movies on the big screen, or action scenes on the big screen. It's not worth it. But you know, Tom Holland makes the movie watchable on your phone because he's really, I think it's his best performance as Spider-Man and as Peter Parker. I think it's his best overall performance, and I think he should be very praised for it. But the movie's bad. The movie is a big LGBTQ plus movie. It's all, it's like you're basically, it's like the Odyssey. It's like they just shoved a bunch of political crap down your throat. And by the way, conservatives are not immune to that, because I've now seen 5 movies that supposedly were really good by Angel Studios, and it's like, dude, stop shoving your conservative values up my butt. I just want to watch a entertaining movie. It's like all these liberals and all these conservatives like don't take into account that we go to a movie theater, watch the movie, and enjoy ourselves, not to get a political statement from somebody. You know? So don't waste your money going to the movie theater. You can watch the leaked version on TikTok, or just wait until it comes out on Disney Plus. It's worth watching, though. Tom Holland makes it worth watching. He does a really, really fantastic job. And if it wasn't for him, the movie would be even more dog crap. So it's funny because I actually went to watch the Odyssey in the movie theater. I walked out in 25 minutes. I was like, this is garbage. What is wrong with people? What happened to Christopher Nolan? He's a great storyteller. I'm like, what happened to this guy? It's just, what a garbage movie. The best movie I've seen so far in the movie theater this year is Obsession. That is such a great movie. Great storytelling. Oh my God. If you have not seen Obsession, you need to see that movie ASAP. It'll scare the living crap out of you. But it's so good. Incredible movie. Another incredible movie. Not really. That's the only incredible movie I've seen this year. Everything else has either been really bad or kind of like you could tell Captain America: Brave New World was rewritten to make liberals happy. Because it's like it's two different movies. You watch it and it's like two different movies were shoved into one. And they just did the Falcon, which is a new Captain America. They did him wrong. Because I think he's a really good actor. And I think he's the right actor for the job. And I think he was the right person to take over for Captain America in the movies, in the MCU. But they botched him so bad. I mean, he did him no justice at all. No justice. It's disgusting. You know, it's just like the Superman movie was okay. I walked into Superman with no expectations because it's hard to beat Christopher Reeves. And it's really hard to beat Henry Cavill.
Go with
Henry Cavill, hands down to me, is the best overall Superman, with Christopher Reeve being a really close second. But the Superman movie that they came out with, that James Gunn, helped move into the mainstream, wasn't too bad. I actually enjoyed it. It was worth watching in the theater. Way worth watching in the theater. I don't think it was a great movie by any means, but it was a lot of fun to watch. I'm not going to do this. I'm just going to hang out. I'll do this tomorrow. It's just one of those enjoyable things. I really think overall movies this year have been bleh. I watched. I got a free ticket to watch the Supergirl movie. I fell asleep about 30 minutes in. Somebody had to wake me up when the credits were rolling. Just when movies become too conservative or too liberal in their politics, I fall asleep. I get bored. I'm like, dude, I already get enough of this on my phone every day. Why do I need to see this in a movie? I come to the movies to escape all that crap. I don't come to the movies to see Republican propaganda or Democratic socialist propaganda. I'm not into that crap. I want to have some fun and watch a good movie. So just one of those things. What was the other movie? There was another movie I watched that was... See, I don't even remember. The other movie I really enjoyed, but I watched it on HBO Max, was Mortal Kombat 2. I watched Devil Wears Prada on streaming. That was a really bad movie. Too political. Project Hail Mary was an awesome movie. I wish that I had seen it in the theater, but I didn't have the time. At the time when it was in the theater, I had been working every day. It just seemed like I just never had a break. So I watched it on stream, and I severely enjoyed that movie. Fabulous movie. And then, of course, I mentioned Obsession and things like that. But, it's just, God, man. Movies. Oh, Just feel like movies anymore cash grabs for the politically correct. Anyway, that's enough for tonight. I'm tired. I gotta wake up early in the morning for work. Have a good one, guys.